We've all had the experience when you go and you tap your Presto card, you go down into the subway, and then the subway's not running. And you stand there, and the people amass and amass on the platform, and it gets increasingly crowded and increasingly uncomfortable. And you're looking around for an information update, and it's always a question of like, how long am I going to stay here waiting before I just pull chute, head up to the surface, and then elbows up trying to compete with everybody to get jammed on a bus? And I would just suggest that, you know, when somebody is paying for a service, that service ought to be delivered. It's kind of how it works in almost every other facet of life, right? Like you pay, there's a transaction, and then you expect the service to be delivered. It's a little bit different than, you know, first responders, police, fire, you know, the parks workers that we pay through our property taxes. But with transit, you are literally pulling out your Presto card and you're tapping it and there's a transaction. And 25,000 times this year, the TTC and the city hasn't held up their end of the bargain. The bargain that states you pay a fare, you get a service. And I hear from folks every single day that they are building in an extra 20 or 30 minutes buffer into their commute because they don't know if the bus is going to show up or if the trains are going to be running. And Madam Speaker, I don't think that that is a level of service that transit riders are paying for, and I think that as a city we should try and hold ourselves to a higher standard. Ridership continues to languish since the pandemic. It's not where it once was. And as a system that collects 2/3 of its revenue from the fare box, and I'd be the first to acknowledge that we should have other levels of government contributing to operating costs, but I'm also practical and living in the world that, you know, the City of Toronto is in right now. Fare box revenue is really important. So we need to get people back to transit. But I hear time and time again, folks aren't taking the TTC because it's not reliable. And I don't think that you should have to pay for a service that hasn't been delivered. This is not a radical or untested idea. You know, there are lots of people that make lots of excuses for all the reasons why things can't be done. There's not enough people that are standing up to push us to be better, to have more accountability, to stand up for Torontonians who would like to see City Hall standing up for them. And so I listened to the answers to the questions with intent. Are there some challenges? Sure. Is this a program that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world? Absolutely not.